Thyristor switch capacitor TAC is a part of SVC, which is a shunt connected fax devices. To overcome the limitations offered by TAC, the TCR units are also combined with the TAC to enhance the controllability of fax devices. We get TAC TCR. So the part number 5 explains two fax devices. The first is TAC and the second one is TAC TCR. So let us begin with the first one, thyristor switch capacitor. So this is the diagram for thyristor switch capacitor. A basic single phase TAC consists of an anti-parallel connected thyristor valve pair, which is this one, that acts as a bidirectional switch in series with the capacitor and a current limiting small reactor. So the combination of these three components gives us TAC, thyristor switched capacitor. The thyristor switch allows the conduction for integral number of the half cycle. The capacitor is not phase control as is a TCR. So in TCR we understood that antiparallel connected thyristor valve pair is connected in series with the reactor, and by controlling the firing angle alpha from 90 degree to 180 degree, we can control the reactance offered by TCR gradually, linearly. But in the case of TAC, only two possibilities exist. Either it offers the maximum amount of susceptance or zero magnitude of susceptance. So in the case of TAC, we cannot gradually or linearly vary the susceptance offered by compensator. So the thyristor valves are turned on at an instant when the minimum voltage is sensed across the valves to minimize the switching transients, which can be considered as a zero voltage switching. So to minimize the switching transients, it is better to operate the valves when the minimum voltage is sensed across the switching elements. Bearing these initial transients, the TAC current is sinusoidal and free from harmonics, thus obviating the need for any filters. As I explained earlier, that only two possibilities exist, which means that this antiparallel connected thyristor pair behaves as either fully on or fully off. So when the condition is like this antiparallel connected thyristor pair is fully on, then the maximum magnitude of the current flows through the branch. So the current is obviously the sinusoidal in nature and free from harmonics. And when this antiparallel connected thyristor pair behaves as completely off, which means an open circuit element, so there is no current flow through the branch. That means if current is not present, then there is no question of the harmonics. So in the case of TAC, there is no need of filter. The small series inductor is installed to limit the current transients during the over voltage conditions. The current transients mean sudden change in the magnitude of the current. So to limit these current transients, we know that inductor is the element who doesn't allow sudden change in the current. So that provides the protection during the current transients under the over voltage conditions. A three-phase TAC unit comprises three single-phase TACs connected in delta, which are usually supplied by the delta secondary winding of a step-down transformer. So as discussed earlier, that the compensator is connected to the high voltage bus through the coupling transformer. So in the coupling transformer, the secondary winding is normally of delta type, and that delta secondary winding supplies a three-phase TAC, and that construction of three-phase TAC is nothing but three units of single-phase TACs are connected in delta manner. If such three units are connected in delta manner, then we can have three-phase TAC. A practical TAC compensator involves n number of three-phase TAC banks of equal ratings connected in shunt manner. The overall TAC susceptance at any given instant is the sum of conducting TAC. Obviously, if out of these 4 branches, if only 2 branches are conducting, that means the susceptance of the compensator is the susceptance offered by the first one plus susceptance offered by the second one. In some cases, the ratings of different constituent TAC steps may be chosen based on the binary system. In this scheme, n-1 capacitors are rated for susceptance B and 1 capacitor is rated for susceptance B by 2. If we look at the VI characteristic of the TAC, then in VI characteristic on the x-axis, as usual, the current flowing through the TAC, and on the y-axis the voltage across the compensator, that is TAC, VTAC. And as I said earlier, the TAC is a part of SVC. So by using this type of compensator, we do not get any control on the inductive side because no inductive element is present in the construction of TAC. And whatever the inductive element is present, and that is for only limiting the current transients during the voltage disturbance condition. So we get only control in the leading power factor range, that is on the capacitive side. The meaning of this statement is, rather than having one capacitor of large rating, it is better to have more than one capacitor of equal ratings so that we can have the more control over the capacitive susceptance offered by the compensator to the system. For example, if we select one capacitor with the full magnitude and only one TAC branch is present, then we cannot control VI characteristic in the intermediate portion. So in the TAC, if the antiparallel connected thyristor pair is triggered, which means that capacitor is fully present into the system, so the characteristic would be like this. And when the antiparallel connected thyristor pair is not triggered, which means that capacitor gets isolated from the system, which means that characteristic would be like this. But by chance, if we want to change the susceptance from the maximum value towards the minimum value, somewhere in between, if we need the susceptance offered by the compensator, then that can be achieved by dividing larger amount of one capacitance into equal amount of many capacitance. And that is this concept all about. So thus the total number of possible TAC steps gets extended to 2n, which means that we can move towards linear control like TSR. The TAC has a discrete voltage current operating characteristic. You can see that the VI characteristic does not look like the characteristic which we have seen in the TCR, where the characteristic linearly varies from minimum value towards the maximum value when the current through the compensator varies linearly from the capacitive region to the inductive region. So the change in this case is discrete in manner. The shape of this characteristic is a function of number of TAC units, their individual ratings, and a hysteresis voltage delta V, which is built in to avoid undesirable frequent switching of the capacitor. So let me describe this characteristic with reference to this line diagram. If only one branch of this TAC unit is conducting, then we get the characteristic like this. And if two branches, this one and this one, two branches are simultaneously conducting, then we get the characteristic like this, and so on. If more and more branches are involved in the conduction, then this range could be extended in the capacitive region. So in a closed loop voltage control operation, the TAC regulates the bus voltage within the range of V reference plus or minus delta V divided by 2. Voltage of the SVC is controlled by the closed loop voltage control concept, and that voltage is kept within the limit, which is V reference plus or minus delta V divided by 2. Next is TAC TCR. thyristor switched capacitor and thyristor controlled reactor, which is the combination of previously discussed two FACS devices. The TAC TCR compensator usually comprises n TAC banks and a single TCR, and that are connected in parallel. So one unit of TCR and many units of TAC. The rating of the TCR is chosen to be 1 divided by n of the total SVC rating. The capacitors can be switched in a discrete step, whereas the continuous control within the reactive power span of each step is provided by the TCR. Thus, maximum inductive range of SVC corresponds to the rating of the relatively small interpolating TCR. So let me explain this statement with the help of VI characteristic. If one unit of TAC branch is present, that means the characteristic we get like this one, right? And we know that TAC branches are discrete in nature. So when the anti-parallel connected thyristor pair is on, then the maximum amount of capacitor is present into the system, and when this thyristor pair is off, the capacitor gets isolated. So either maximum amount of capacitance or zero amount of the capacitance. Only two possibility is there. But if we want the variation in between these two values, then it is better to control the firing angle of the inductive branch in simultaneously with the TAC units. If one capacitive branch is conducting, then by controlling the firing angle alpha of this inductive branch, we can have the linear control within this range. As the size of TCR is small, the harmonic generation is also substantially reduced. There is no question of harmonics in the TAC units because they are either fully appearing into the system or fully gets isolated from the system. So the current is either always sinusoidal in nature or there is no current at all. Because of that, there is no question of harmonics in the case of TAC units. But in the case of TCR, from the previous discussion we understood that as the firing angle alpha increases from 90 degree towards 180 degree, then current through that branch gradually decreases in the magnitude point of view, as well as the discontinuity in the current increases, and because of that the harmonic increases into the system. But the size of the TCR in this compensator is small, because of that the harmonic generation is also less. The TAC branches are tuned with the series reactor to different dominant harmonic frequencies to avoid a situation in which all the TACs and consequently the associated filters are switched off. An additional non-switchable capacitor filter branch is provided, which is always present into the system, and that is only during the TCR operation. The main motivation in developing TAC TCRs was for enhancing the operational flexibility of the compensator during the large disturbances and for reducing the steady state losses. A fixed capacitor thyristor controlled reactor behaves like a parallel LC circuit that tends to set up a resonance with the AC system impedance during the large disturbance. With no active TAC unit, the system becomes inductive with alpha is equal to 90 degree. It offers the absorption limit. So with corresponding to the diagram and the VI characteristic, let me explain this point. So when alpha is equal to 90 degree, then none of the TAC unit is active into the system. And for alpha is equal to 90 degree, this anti-parallel connected thyristor behaves as a short circuit element. So only inductive portion is present into the system, and so the maximum amount of the reactive power is absorbed by this branch, and so the limit corresponding to alpha is equal to 90 degree when the zero TAC is conducting is known as the absorption limit. By activating TAC units one by one, that is moving from this inductive region towards the capacitive and more towards the capacitive region, the system becomes more and more capacitive and it offers the leading operating range of VI characteristic. As I said earlier, that by switching the TSC branches one by one, we move more and more towards the production limit. For alpha is equal to 180 degree, these inductive branches are not conducting, whereas all the capacitive branches are conducting. So the maximum amount of the capacitive reactance present into the system and maximum amount of the reactive power gets injected, or you can say the maximum amount of the reactive power is produced by the compensator. So the limit corresponding to alpha is equal to 180 degree, where the maximum number of the TSC branches are active, that is known as the production limit. Thus, by controlling the firing angle alpha of each and every branch, we can have the control from inductive region towards the capacitive region.